pinheads.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud. Next, please.
Hi guys, welcome to another excerpt into Dave C's G.I. Joe commentary. It's kind of snowy outside today, so decided to stay in and do another G.I. Joe video. Always kind of fun to do and kind of relaxing. And today we're looking at a topic that was far from relaxing when I was a kid. The 1985 G.I. Joe figure collection. And a few vehicles too, I suppose. But here they are here, and a lot of Joe fans agree that 1985 was the top year for G.I. Joe. It had a lot of figures come out that were detrimental to the 1980s G.I. Joe universe. Some reissues that were a lot of people think better and out of this world. And the biggest playset known to mankind, the USS Flagg. So yeah, I thought you can't really have YouTube commentary videos without talking about 1985, because that's just such a killer year, and definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I was 10 years old then, and that's right in my wheelhouse for so much excitement and all that. So anyway, you can kind of introduce the guys. There's the Striker Jeep driver, crankcase. There's the Mahler driver, heavy metal. There's one of my son's favorites, Footloose, who's an infantry guy, kind of a newer version of Grunt, 1982 Grunt. And at this point, I think Larry was kind of like overwhelmed by all the new guys that he had to write in his book, because every year there was new characters for the same positions, kind of, like Grunt and then Footloose right after. But so he had to write, do a lot of extra writing. But as a kid, I mean, we didn't care. We just loved all the new guys that were coming out, right? But anyway, there's an environmental specialist, Airtight. And then a lot of people's favorite, Dusty, who I have a mint-on card of. And he was definitely one of my favorites. And he's named after Ron Rudat, of course. His file card name on that file card. Spelled a little bit differently, I think. I have to check that, but yeah, all the fans right now are going to find all the errors there. But there's a reference to him on the file card with his name. And then of course Shipwreck, who's a hilarious character, and Polly, his parrot. And then 85 Snake Eyes came out, and a lot of people went wild over that because Timber was included. His wolf from the cartoon and in the comic later on. But yeah, totally awesome character who was a commando but also a ninja. And ninjas weren't all that popular just yet. It was kind of something that, I guess what I meant is that a lot of the toys and movies after had a lot of cheesy type ninjas, and that became a fad. But in G.I. Joe, ninjas were far from a fad. They were actually very original and very cool. And so they kind of had a backstory with Snake Eyes and his ninja stuff starting to come out and so they decided to go with a figure for that as well. It came with a sword, and I still had his Uzi, but more of a ninja type. And then behind him is Lady J, who is covert operations. That was her specialty, and she was a really, really tough woman who took no nonsense from anybody, and she was really great in the cartoon. So many stories about her, and beside her is her boyfriend, Flint, who was a warrant officer, who he was kind of like a John Wayne type guy, like sort of fly by the seat of your pants type guy who always got it done. He was my son's favorite, or he is my son's favorite character out of all the, well, out of any character. I think that's his favorite. Him and Cobra Commander. But yeah, they were really great GI Joe couple, and super entertaining in the cartoon, with a lot of episodes playing on that, with their romance and the awkwardness of it.
To the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles on the land or on the sea. Shut everything behind us.
You're gonna clam up, or do we have to?
Yo, Joe!
And then there's two guys that everybody knows from the cartoon as being buddies, and quite comical. Bazooka, who's a bazooka trooper, and Alpine, who's a mountain specialist, mountain climber. Then Firefighter, Barbecue, Frostbite from the Snowcat, he's a driver, Arctic Trooper. And then a guy who came with the cross and toss, a tank, for it's like a bridge layer, that's what it was called. Toll booth. He had a really cool look with a hard hat, and he didn't have the swivel neck. I think he was supposed to be released in 1984, but they didn't get around to it. They released him a little bit later on, a year later. And then there's Quick Kick, another karate guy, who is pretty cool in cartoon, funny character. And then there's my dusty 1985 Midtown card. It's actually unpunched. I didn't notice that until now. They're kind of neat. That's the peg punch hole, of course, when you say unpunched, for those who don't know. But yeah, and it had the scratch and win still in there behind it, which is really cool. That was from that contest that's in the bottom left corner there. You'd scratch it and find out what you'd be eligible for. Yeah, so there's a bunch of 85 guys. And before I forget, down here, on top of the transportable tactical battle platform, is the mail away, the Fridge, who the Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl that year, of course, against the Patriots, and their defense was crazy good, and he was a defensive lineman, and pretty much unstoppable. And in one of the plays there, they gave him the ball, and he plowed through and got a touchdown on offense, which was unheard of before that, using defensive players for that. So he was heralded for that in that Super Bowl win. So it was a famous team with Mike Ditka was the coach. So they made a figure of him, and a lot of people have opinions about that. I think it's a neat figure. I mean, I didn't go googly-eyed over it because I wasn't a sports fan back then yet, and but now looking at it, I mean, yeah, it's from that time, so it's kind of cool. I mean, he was quite a player. And then, of course, there's Sergeant Slaughter, who was a pro wrestler, and you could mail away and get him as well. And I watched wrestling. I was a WWF fan back then because everyone was in North America, really. It was a huge wrestling federation. And I was a Roddy Piper fan because he was hilarious on his Piper's Pit. He was a bad guy then, but I didn't care. I thought he was so funny, and you know what he would do on the Piper's Pit. I would just tune in for that more than the actual wrestling half the time because he would make fun of people and then kind of goat them into a fight. And that whole thing with Andre the Giant when Hulk Hogan had a problem with Andre, and then that was on Piper's Pit. And so I didn't really know much about Sergeant Slaughter. I think he was more in the other league. I think it was NWA, or I don't know what it's called, but anyway, I'm sure, well, I know other people know all about that, but yeah, so I kind of liked him as a drill sergeant. I didn't really know him as a wrestler that well. I think he was a bad guy in that league too, but anyway, he turned out to be a good character, and a lot of people liked him in the cartoon, and in the comic book, I personally liked him in the comic book because he was more of a serious character who was just a tough drill sergeant. And yeah, so there's the 85 guys. I don't want to make this video too long. I was going to go up and look at the flag and talk about how I got the flag and all that. It's a pretty interesting story, but I don't think I will right now because we're already at 10 minutes for this video. But yeah, there's the 1985 figures and how I have them displayed on my shelf. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a good rest of the day. Okay, bye. Like the little boat. I'm sure everybody notices that because it's a glaring missing part. It's a little Admiral's launch here. That's it goes for about 80 bucks right now, which isn't a big deal, but I don't want to buy it just yet right now because I got other things on the go. So, and yeah, I'm missing a couple things, you know. The old speaker system, sound system, that often doesn't work anymore. I don't have one of those, which is, it's just a kind of a magnaphone and a microphone, and you talk into it. Well, here's a picture of it right here. I don't have that thing anymore, and because I don't look like that anymore. I've changed a bit, so somewhere along the line I lost that thing. But I haven't lost my sense of humor, that's for sure. But yeah, anyway, and then I'm missing the fuel trailer and the chair that goes in there. But I've got this thing that goes on the Sky Striker. And I'm also missing, now it's a video about what I'm missing. I'm missing one rivet here. And I'm also missing the string and the fasteners here that tie onto this when a Sky Striker lands. So, but anyway, like I said, I thought I would tell a story about how I got this thing. It was up north at a place called Elmhurst, and Christmas 1985, my family, we rented some cabins up there, and it was off on the lake there, and there was a major snowstorm, and we borrowed my uncle Joe's Pontiac station wagon, and we all got in that thing, and in the back of the wagon was this big box, and I pretended like I didn't know what it was. I really wanted the USS Flagg that year. I mean, who didn't, right? But anyway, I really wanted it, and from Santa, and but anyway, we were driving up there, and it was a snowstorm, and we pulled in and we unloaded everything, and my parents had put it in a spot where I wouldn't find it, and so we were up there and we were skating on the pond up there and different things like that. Eddie Shack was up there, who was a famous Toronto Maple Leaf. He won the Cup with 67 Leafs last time they won it. And but anyway, we were doing things like skiing and all that type stuff. And one day I came back, I went in my room, and I happened to go in the closet, and I saw a little bit of this big box, and it turned out to be this big box. And there's a poster from 3D Joes. But yeah, so I freaked out totally. That was the night before Christmas, of course. And then on Christmas morning, it was sitting there, and Santa brought it. So that was probably the best Christmas I ever had, for sure. And I remember I was shaking a lot and just couldn't believe it. I couldn't wait to get home, though. That was the other thing. Like I couldn't take it out of the box because it's just too big. I remember just looking at the parts all in the plastic and just reading Keelhaul's file card. That's the guy who came with it, Admiral Keelhaul. I remember reading his file card over and over and over again, and then just wishing to get home so I could put my Sky Striker on it and the Killer Whale and all my guys, you know, so they could have a home other than the 1983 base that I had. But yeah, I was able to get Keelhaul because I was missing a Keelhaul. I had lost him, and I actually got one that's still in the package. It's still the original plastic, which is pretty cool because he's in really good condition. Obviously, never been opened. But yeah, I just sit him up there and probably never will open him. Maybe I'll buy a rougher one that we can use for our battles and stuff. But right now he just sits up there. But yeah, okay, pretty cool. Look at the 85 stuff and all that. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Chuck, it's Marvin. Your cousin Marvin Barry. You know that new sound you looking for? Well, listen to this.